As a child, I had my first love affair. And that love is with me still. Day after day, I would go outside seeking her embrace. Month after year, year after year, I was given the privilege of being able to go outside and be in nature, be stroked by her, be kissed by her, to play and act a whole life ahead of time. She entered me very deeply, and I feel that somewhere deep inside me I made a pledge, I made a promise. I will not betray your love. I will not betray your love. Time moved on, and I also endured a privileged education, and I detested it, and I learnt nothing. And I came out of that education looking ahead into adulthood and knowing that I wanted no part of the dream that was being offered to me. I was also deep in my heart so sad that I had now to let go of everything that I loved because I was told that those things are childish and there was no place for them in this world. And one thing led to another, and in the end, so deeply saddened, in grief as I feel by that knowledge, I just sought adventures to substitute a proper life. And they ended up in a room in southeast London, and there were guns in that room, and I lived an altogether different life to the one that my parents had planned for me. And on that particular day when this gun was being waved and it was pointed at me at one point, as I sat there, I felt two things. I felt on the one hand, this is fantastic. I feel alive. I understand the territory I'm in. I know the exits. I understand my environment here. And the other side of me was saying, this is pathetic. It's such a grubby, small, little story. It has no place. And later that day, I walked away from that life. And I went and trained as a gardener for 2 years to heal myself and to ask myself profound questions, which to me are so sad that we do not seem to fill our schools at the very core of our education, that we do not fill them with these questions. What do I love? What do I care for? What brings meaning to my life? And simultaneously, as it would happen, and this is missing a great chunk of the story, but simultaneously, as I began working with corporations in leadership development, because I jumped from gardener to the head of consultancy in the same place. That is another story. Simultaneously, as I walked into Unilever's office to meet Niall Fitzgerald, who at that time was co-chairman, I began a training with a group of mixed-blood Native American people. And they took me close to my heart. They took me back to myself. A glade in the forest, trees all around, a circle of men and women, dancers, dancing a ceremony that's thousands of years old, and drums beginning to beat, and the songs, the song of a people, a wild song, raises up and is cascading and pouring through the woods and is all around me. And as the song reaches a certain point, the circle of dancers surge forward and we're running for the tree. And the tree is at the center of the circle. Just like the tree has been at the center of so many traditions all around our world, the tree has stood as a symbol for something that is sacred and beautiful. And in this earth Sundance ceremony, we ran to the tree, this circle of people just surging towards the tree, and I felt my heart just tear open. And tears spilling down my face. But I was sobbing with joy because I knew that an ancient part of myself was coming home. And it's not that I wanted to occupy and live in that world forever, because I love this life and I love this time, but I do not wish to forget the love affair that I had when I was little. And working with those people, so many conversations, so many moments, exquisite moments. The one I share with you now, and they were saying, Mac, we know about Gautama Buddha. He sounds like a good guy. We understand that Gautama Buddha, when he received enlightenment, sat underneath a Bodhi tree. And it was after he had sat there for some long time that he received his enlightenment. Tell us, why is it that everybody speaks about Gautama Buddha, but nobody ever mentions the tree? We think the tree had something to do with this. Tell us, Mac, Muhammad entered a cave, the cave Hira. And it was here that he was blessed and given the visions that he later put into the Quran. Why is it we hear everything about Muhammad, but nobody seems to mention the cave? The cave, the sacred dreaming kiva, as we know them. We think the cave had something to do with this. When Moses went up the mountain and came back down with the wisdom for his people, everybody talks about Moses, nobody mentions the mountain. When Jesus went out onto the Judean desert, everybody talks about Jesus. What about the desert? We believe, we know our Mother Earth is a great teacher. And we're going to challenge you and ask you, will you go into an adult life in this century, in this what we call our modern times, and speak of our Mother Earth, or will you find that too embarrassing? I do not find it embarrassing. Indigenous peoples have said for years, when humanity moves away from nature, their heart hardens. And understand this to be true. When I stood at Heathrow Airport in London before I came here at Terminal 3, I needed some item of clothing, and I thought, oh, that's great, I'll get it at the airport. And I wandered around the retail outlets, but Cartier and Prada and goodness knows what else did not have what I needed. I saw a watch for sale for £9,000. I saw a bag for £400. I saw a whole load of useless garbage that we call something special. And I understood that we have made gods and goddesses of stuff. I understood that entire careers are dedicated towards accumulating nothing, just a list of figures, and we call that success. I understand that decisions are made in the boardrooms of organizations which move thousands of people into the slums of Kibera, the largest slum district in Africa. I know that because I've been there and walked in those slums. And I was in Delhi last month in the slums there, and I know it's there. And I've been in Mumbai, and I've seen it there. I've been inside the high security prisons of South Africa, and I've met 30 women in there for murder. And I've heard their stories, and I know that their stories are all the same. They were beaten once too often. And one day decided they couldn't take it any longer. We have made gods and goddesses of something so pathetically infantile. And we have forgotten what makes a real life. Those people came to Britain on many occasions because it was over some years that I learnt from them. And at one time, they asked if they could go to a river. And they went to this river, and we have some beautiful rivers in England. And they went to the river Avon. And there they looked for one of the people that run a sort of tourist boat that will go up the river, taking tourists. And they boarded this boat. They must have looked slightly odd to the guy who was running the boat. They looked unusual looking people. And they took their places in the boat alongside all the tourists. And the guy who was running the boat, who'd been doing this for years and years and years, was a man, I guess, of about my age. And he had about him a kind of stifled anger, hatred, grief, and sadness. And as the boat chugged its way along the river, this beautiful river, with trees cascading over the edges of the banks and the weeping willows just brushing the water, and the rushes and all of these things, as he drove along through this beautiful, beautiful, sinuous expression of nature, he said, on the left, as you will see over there, there is this enormous building that was purchased by Madonna a couple of years ago for however many millions of pounds. On the right, you see the Duke of Westminster's place. He bought that place for another 10, 20, whatever millions of pounds. He's just put a new wing on it, reported to amount to another 15 million on top of that, and a voice rang out, "Riverman! Riverman!" Why do you not speak to us of what you know? I know you love this river. I know you love this river. Speak to us of what you love. Don't give us this bullshit about this place and that place and how much they're worth. And the guy said, thank you very much, our rather loud American friend. But actually, this is my boat and my tour, and you're my paying guests, and I will give the tour I wish to give. On the left, Rod Stewart bought this place for another few million pounds. On the right, Riverman! Speak to us of what you love. I feel your tears. Be brave enough. Speak to us of what you love. And this man, it's like he began to crack. And he started trying to speak again to make light of this intervention. He said, and his eyes started to fill. It's true. It's true. I do love this river. But nobody wants to know. Celebrities and houses that cost fortunes. But the trees that stroke her surface, the salmon that have returned, the news and the possibility that the otters might be coming back. I love this river. The story of Riverman, I believe, speaks to us. It is a tragedy that in our business schools around the world, we do not place at the very center the understanding and the pathway for our students, for them to learn what is truly valuable. And then with their extraordinary intelligence and their wonderful privilege, and of all the training that they've got, to then dedicate themselves to what they love. To bring our gifts, our education, everything, our wounds even, everything that has made us the person that we are, and bring that into alignment with the work that we offer. And this does not mean that you cannot have some comfort in your life. No, the only inevitable result of that is that you will be happy and have a deeply fulfilling life. And you will not have to live in poverty, you will have plenty. It is so sad that the elder people, the people my age and older, keep saying this ridiculous statement, which is it's all up to the young people. It's not all up to the young people. After a lifetime of experience and wealthy, if one's ever going to be wealthy by this time, having accumulated so much that they should imagine that now is the time to go on endless cruises and retire and kick back and give up? No. Leaders are those who are brave enough to act on what they know to be true. Leadership is a choice, it's nothing more. It's a choice that you make, irrespective of your social position, your professional standing, your education, or your lack of it. Leadership is a choice. Around our world now, voices are calling to those that have the power and privilege to make a difference in this world, and that is every single person in this room and countless millions outside of this room, to bring the choices they make about the work that they do and how they do it into alignment with what they love, and to become leaders. And the voices calling us are those of our unborn children around the world. They are the voices of our grandparents and great-great-grandparents who are now no longer with us. They are the voices of all humanity and all that is beautiful in this world, saying, bring yourself to this time most potently and powerfully. Please. Thank you.